Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we will be learning polymorphism in Python. Now, polymorphism is also a part of inheritance. So if you haven't watched our inheritance video, you should watch it and also learn the OP's concept if you haven't. So let's just get to the concept of what is polymorphism. Polymorphism um, is a parent-child relationship. Polymorphism is also not parent-child relationship. I'm not going to say that. So polymorphism is two types of polymorphism. The number one is called method overloading, and another one is method overwriting. Now, method overriding is specially used when you use inheritance. Now, we have actually seen a little bit of method overriding, but I haven't actually specified that it was also part of polymorphism. So let's just get to method overloading, and I'm also going to explain everything by doing some code. So let's just get PyCharm, open our PyCharm, and let's just get coding. Alright, last time we learned inheritance, so if you haven't, you should learn it. I'll just create a new package. I'm going to name this as polymorphism. And in this package, let's just create a new file. I'm gonna name this file, let's just give it an example of like a father and son relationship. Let's make a file called father. Now here is father. I'm gonna create a class. Now father has some attributes, like let me just get a constructor. Attributes like name, age, get home, or like father also inherited like name, age, wife. Here I'm gonna just specify these things. Just quickly create our getters errors. Set name. Get name. Set age. Get age. Also set wife name. Get wife name. And self dot wife name. And let's as well as create a toString. Let's say like father name colon self dot name age colon self dot age. I'll say wife. So here I create the constructor and the getter attributes. Now let's just implement it in our new class name child. Now child, wait, I mistakenly created a UINB file which is for Jupyter here, but it should be working here now. I mistakenly created a Jupyter file. Let's just create a Python file. Here I have a class named child. We inherited the father class. Now the father class will be get by importing from father. So now this father class is inherited. Let's make a constructor. Now here the child class must have their own attributes, right? Now these attributes, like let's just say the child must have his like own like child name and the child age, self dot child name is equal to child name self dot child age is equal to child age. And as well as I have to also call the father constructor as well. Father constructor, as we learned before, the inheritance I must construct the inherited class as well. So for that, let's just put a parameter where the father class also have. So here I'll put the name, age, and wife name. And I use a super function, pass the child function, child class as well as the self, and run the underscore init, and put a name, age, and wife name. This is how simply you can do this thing. So once I do this, let's just quickly create the getter setters as well as the constructor in a short time lapse. Okay, so I'm back after creating the twisting and the getter setters as well. So this is how it looks. So I've actually used a super function here, as you know it before. Now where is the part of overriding? So let's just get to what is overloading here. Now suppose I have a function in Tahsin called like def, let's just say in this, now in child function we have a child like sleep. Now this sleep function, if it's like let's just get this is sleep function. Now first we're gonna learn overloading. What is an overloading in Python OP? It's like a two methods with the same name but only difference of parameters. Let me just give you an example. This is a sleep functions. This is sleep function where it represents this. As we know, in really old videos we used to say that range function has two optional parameters and one mandatory parameter. This is the part of overloading in Python. Probably wonder what does it mean. It means that suppose I made a function where I represent the sleep function, but another function, there is another function like the sleep with an external parameter saying like how much hours you want to sleep. So in other programming language, the method overloading is actually used to create two functions at a time. But Python OOP used to create a single function and make parameters optional. So which shortens the code much. So in other programming language, they use another function to create and overload it. So the parameters are changed and it makes it optional by default. So this leave function, I'm gonna make an optional parameter. This optional parameter will be a hours, and this hours, if they don't specify the hours, it's going to be by default 8 hours. And I'm gonna type slept hours. So it's gonna type slept slept 8 hours. So if I run and let's make a child is equal to child and pass in these parameters. First of all, we got child name, child age, name, age, and wife name. So I will press the child name. Child age is like 13. Also gonna pass it and as well. And also gonna do what I'm gonna do is child print first of all. First of all, if I run this program, see it will just print out the child things. So let's just, you know what, let's just actually print out child.sleep. So child.sleep.print, if I just print it by default, this will print slept 8 hours, and if I say 10, it will say 10 hours. because there is an optional parameter in our method. So this optional parameter is referring our method overloading in Python. In other programming language, method overloading stands for two functions at a time and with change of parameters. This is the main concept of method overloading. So let's just know method overriding right now. So overriding, let's just give an example of method overriding. If father had a attribute called home and father got old, so now you want to change the home, and that concept of home changing is the father home was overridden by the child class. The father's home was overridden by the child class, and this thing is possible by using overriding. So the one who inherited the parent class can change the parent class attributes by using method overriding. Now it can only be changing the methods, not as attributes. It can be changing attributes using the getter setter set age set names or whatever it is. So if you right click on Python, there's a generator. As you can see here, say override methods. Here if you just see the override methods, this is the methods you can override in from the father class. Let's just say I want to override the home method. So let's just go and create a function called home. So here I will in father class, I will create a function called home. Now this home will return father's home. And in child class, I want to just inherit it. I want to override this class to child's home. Let me just simply do that. So here I will just type generate override methods, and here I will gonna use the home and click OK. After doing that, as you can see, it overrides the method. So it's a method overriding. So here I'll just return child home. Now once you just type child dot home, now this home is no longer for the parent class, it's only for the child class. Let's print it. As you can see, it will type child home. Now if I let me just comment this thing, and as program it will say father's home, because this is not overridden and the father homes is still alive. So this was the concept of method polymorphism in Python. So let's just recap what we have done in these moments. So let's just recap it. So polymorphism two types. One of them is called the method overloading, and another one is called the method overriding. Method overloading stands for method overloading is used to make an optional parameters in your function. In other programming language, it is like a two function with the same the change of parameters which can execute which can execute other things. So suppose I have a slave function with a hour as an optional parameter. In other programming language, it makes the code bigger by using two functions. So this is the main part of the polymorphism overloading. And next up we got overriding. Overriding stands for override the parent class methods. It's like parent have a home, and if you got bigger, you want to change the parent home by using method override. So if you just run method override, if you run the home function without overriding the method, it will say father's home. And if you would run it after method overriding, this will change the method father's home to your home right now. So this is how simply the concept of polymorphism in Python. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do so, then please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. We'll talk about more about Python.